Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 3 versus 3 on Colleville, and in this one I'm going to be playing with Val and Betts. I'm going to be using the 2nd Armoured French Division, and my teammates are going to be using the 15th Infantry. So this is actually a game that was played out before the recent nerf to the French. And I wanted to use this game to really talk over the changes. I'll leave a link in the comments to the latest patch changes, like I did in my previous video, just so that you guys have reference to what I'm talking about. Because in this video, the changes aren't already apparent. So, for example, the first thing is that they did actually reduce the Phase A requisition points down from 105 to 100. Do I think this is enough? Probably not. I think that they really need to close the gap between the lowest Phase A requisition points in Phase A and the highest. I think the gap needs to definitely be a lot smaller, and maybe 100 is too much. But that only depends on whether or not they're willing to actually bring up the lower divisions from, for example, 65 on the third armoured, which is actually very low for that division currently. Either way, I think some of the changes are really good. Reducing it from 105 to 100 requisition points in Phase A, definitely something that is welcome and a good change in the right direction. They've definitely nerfed the crap out of the recon vehicles and recon infantry. They've taken away the hidden evasion stat from all recon units, I believe, that basically made them harder to hit to the more experience they had. So there you go. Now basically units get more experience based on, or get more accuracy based on experience instead, which is, I think, perfectly fine by me. Recon vehicles also don't get increased speed from veterancy either, which means that the Greyhound is no longer a supercar on the road. And that's great for the 10v10s, where people were just rushing with the M8 Greyhounds all the time. So yeah, I think in general, some great changes. Really makes the game a lot more playable for a lot of people. And they also increased the price of the Greyhound as well in the Recon tab. There's also a few other things, like in general they nerfed the 50 cal across the board, making it less accurate. So that's pretty much the big changes that really affect the French. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get on with the gameplay. So in this one, Val and Betts are going to be pushing the left side with their 15th Infantry Scots divisions, whilst I hold my ground on the right side with the French division. Now, generally what happens in this deck is there's two ways you can do it. You can have two people defending on the right and one person pushing on the left, or you can do the opposite. So you can have two people pushing on the left with one person pushing on the right. Now, since we have two 15th Infantry Scots divisions, we have two AVREs available in Phase A, which makes hitting a hard point like this very appealing, because those AVREs absolutely tear apart the enemy buildings, and that's exactly what we're going to be going for here. And you'll see that Betts and Val do an exceptional job in pushing through that town, whilst it's my job to hold my ground against a wave of Germans. So my strategy for the start of this game was to bring in a couple of the Nerva with the command infantry behind them, the CDP Voltigeurs. Behind the Nerva, got two of each, and then I've got some spy, and I've got the mortar that's going to drop out, provide smoke support. I've got an AT gun for the left side, and I've also got an AT gun for the right with another recon squad. I've got a M5A1 in the center as well. I don't even have a Greyhound at the start in this game, and that's why I thought it was actually quite a good game to show off in relation to the latest changes to the French deck. So this is a game where I think the French deck will more likely play out from now on. There will be less people using the M8 Greyhound from the start of the game, although it still is a very good unit. So here you can see I've got my 2 command units. I've got my 2 Nirva at the front with the 50 cal half tracks. They have 3 stars, and I'm providing the smoke support here to stop all of these armoured cars coming down the road and doing a lot of damage. And while seeing this happen, Phyrexian Cure here, alongside Bless This Ravaged Body, is moving around the right side with his 259s. And well, this was a bit of an issue for me. I have this AT gun here, which is perfectly fine. He can't push across the open. However, he could definitely maybe flank round to where I haven't already smoked. But what's going to happen here is the 50 cal is going to get on target, and so is the M5A1, and well, there goes an armoured car. Phyrexian Cure is going to be bringing in 2 of these Ju-87Ds, and well, there goes a Stuka dive bomb, and he misses all of the bombs. Yeah, the thing is with the Stukas that I find at the moment is they do need to be more accurate, that's for sure, because the idea of it being a dive bomber was the fact that it was more accurate than other bombers. You know, it's a strike bomber. It's supposed to be accurate, and you'll see again here, drops 4 bombs, and well, I think only 1 hit in the end, and it didn't even do any damage, because the HE power on those bombs is actually incredibly low, so it's just basically panicked that and forced it back. And meanwhile, my M5A1 Stuart and the half track are just pinning down and forcing all of these units to fall back. I've also brought up my M8 Greyhound now, the recon one, to kill off one of the vehicles there, the one with the pack on it. That's dead. Going to be taking out the U304s and the SPW233. My M5A1 half track on the left side was actually taken out by this Panzer 35. And, well, the Wildfachwerfer took good care of my AT gun. Now on this left side, since Sendog was pretty much left on his own at the start of the game, he's using these 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers, and what's happened in this left side is he's relied a lot on Panzer Grenadiers that don't have AT weapons. So he has access to Stostrup, but to me it didn't look like he used them very much throughout the game. He very much relied on infantry that didn't have AT, and that really hurt him, because look how close these Honey Stuarts are. If you manage to sneak like an AT crew through this tree line here, you might have been able to even snipe the AVRE, and that would have definitely put a dent into Val and Betts' push. Over on this right side, I'm holding pretty strong, still using smoke to cover off my units every time it basically gets dispersed. I'm bringing some more thanks to this mortar. The mortar's slowly moving forwards as well, so that can't be counter-batteried. 222 manages to knock out my shooter on the Greyhound there, so I just move that out of line of sight of the 222. And I'm going to be trying to move one of my command infantry with the with the bazooka to go and take that out. Now I didn't use this squad here because if I tried to run towards the 222, it's a lot more likely that the 222 could come out and pin down my squad in the open, whereas this one he can't see coming, and that's going to get into the tree line much easier. So the smoke briefly opens up, but I'm going to smoke off a little bit further to them this time, and them not noticing me move the smoke further actually gives me line of sight onto a reinforcing Kubel, which we'll see comes into the open here and gets destroyed alongside the enemy AT gun it was carrying. I managed to get one Zuka onto the 222, and that does force the 222 to the right into the line of fire of my M8 Greyhound, and well, with the 50 cal and the main gun on target, this 222 is not having a very fun time. And finally, I bail it out. So, I've only actually got one of these M8 Greyhounds on the field, and again, that's why I thought this game was a good demonstration of how I feel the French are going to be used from now on. Less sort of focus on the M8 Greyhounds, more focus on the M5A1 Stuarts and the M10 tank destroyers. So I've got an M10 to cover my left side. Got to be a bit careful of this AT gun, but I'm bringing up more Stuarts now. Stuart's really going to do the job alongside more Nirva able to push up into the buildings further on. So this is a Wildwerfer doing its job at the moment in pinning down all of my infantry, and it's quite annoying, honestly, because there's nothing I can do here. I've just got to make sure that I keep the smoke fire up, bringing up the mortar here, provide more smoke fire. I was just going for the a little bit of HE there to try and pin down these Panzer Grenadiers that were reinforcing. Quickly smoke that off though. 259s coming round for the flank again, thanks to Phyrexian Cure. But my M8 Greyhound is on target. There are a few other things to talk about with the latest patch. We did see a change to the Panthers and the Jumbos. The Panthers now, across the board, have one less AP power, and the Jumbos now have one less armour. So the disparity between AP power and armour between the Panther and the Jumbo is still the same. However, it does mean that King Tigers are a lot more likely to one-shot a Jumbo than they were before, which I guess kind of makes sense in some ways, but does make the Jumbos a lot less effective because they can't bounce so many shots from the Pak 43s, and will most likely go down in one shot now, as opposed to having a little bit more of a chance beforehand. And that's going to definitely change the dynamic of how you use the Jumbos, and I think we're just going to be seeing them used in a lot more close range capacity as they were, or than they were before. So before you could get away with engaging your Jumbo from max range. Now I think we're going to be seeing them used a lot closer up. Now here what you can see is happening is Stuart kills off a half-track here. We're picking off the 259s on the right side thanks to my Stuart that's come over here alongside the M5A1, a half-track. And I've also got my 57mm AT gun doing work. M10 is taking on these Panzer 35s, but at max range, the Panzer 35s are going to have trouble actually penetrating an M10. So that's a bit of an issue. I managed to get the 50 cal on target to pin down the Pak 38, so that was good. And well, my M5A1 Stuarts are still going to work onto the enemy half-tracks. On the right side, AT gun still alive due to these Ju-87s being absolutely awful planes. And there goes the Befehl Panzer 35. So this M10 doing work. Out of line of sight of this AT gun. Got to be really careful about that moving forwards though. But still giving me enough time to take on the Panzer 35Ss there. So Betz has brought in two of his Mark 9 Spitfires to go ham onto this AT gun, and he's actually managed to pin that down, which was really great. I move up my M5A1 here. It's a little bit too close for comfort, unfortunately, and a Panzerfaust from the Panzer Grenadiers gonna blow that up. I thought I'd pretty much cleared out all of the infantry, seeing this squad run away. However, there was one squad left that caught me out, and I lose that Stuart unnecessarily. However, if that squad wasn't there, I definitely would have started to run down the enemy AT guns and so on. Because as soon as I come out of line of sight from here, I'm going to be in range nearly with my Stuarts to take on the Pak 38. And well, thanks to Betz's Spitfire support, we have managed to pin down that Pak 38. But let's see what's happening on the left side. Well, Sendog, unfortunately, his lines fell apart, and we control the entirety of the left side of the map. That's just what ended up happening in this one, unfortunately. Do take out the AT gun on the left side there, start to bring in my own Spitfires, and we've eventually got rid of the AT gun on the road as well. So now it's just time to clean up, bringing in the extra air support just to finish things off. Got my Mark 9s in the sky, and now I can make this slow push with my Stuarts and my infantry. So I still think the infantry is going to be deadly effective with the French from now on. They are definitely going to be great with their half tracks. They still get 3-star half tracks and they still get 3-star infantry. They do have the command infantry with the bazookas, which are very good early on for supporting their units. And of course they are still able to bring in a new Stuart every minute for the entirety of Phase A, which is definitely very useful. Just shoot down one of the enemy aircraft there. And this Focke-Wulf 190 is not going to have much fun either, as 2 Spitfires are on its tail. Vielfachwerfer is coming back in again. There is the Pak 35, another one on the road now. This infantry squad on the right, well, that's running around in front of an AT or in front of a machine gun, so that's not going to last too long either. The Nerva here going to be running up to the Speertrupp, so yeah, they're going to get run down too. Job done. We're in Phase B, +4, thanks to the 77% well, ground that we own, thanks to Val and Betts on the left side. Really good job. Versus Ravaged Body surrenders, no surprise there. And we're just left to clear up the rest of the team. So with a +4, it's not going to take us very long to get a victory. 2 minutes and 40 remaining. My M5A1 half track here is going to be on target of this Pak 38, and you're actually going to see this a lot less often now. This is actually the second time that I've showed this off, a Pak 35 or a 50 cal machine gun, sorry, pinning down and destroying an AT gun really easily. I don't think we're going to see this so often anymore because of the reduced accuracy on the 50 cals. However, the 3-star half track's still going to do a good job. Now that 50 cal actually just shot down a Ju-87 there. I didn't see how that happened the first time, but as it got very close to the 50 cal, and because these guys go so slowly, yeah, they managed to get themselves shot down. More planes coming in, more tank engagements here. M10's done a great job taking out a lot of these tanks, and is now going for the kill shot onto the Beuter Sherman. So the M8 Greyhound here, with the 3 stars, able to reload in time to continuously shoot at the Beuter before it gets shot down, or before it gets taken out. And there you go, the M10's going to be finishing that off now that its tracks are broken. So we've now broken the back of this attack on the right side, and I've successfully defended the town against basically 1.5 people, because Fraction Kill wasn't putting all of his points into the right side. He was actually putting some into the left and some into the air. So I think he was just trying to support his team all over the map. And it didn't really work out in the end, since the concerted effort by Val and Betts really made a lot of ground, and we're now just cornering them to the edge of the map with 82% lead. So yeah, anyway, this game was less about just showing us stomping some people. This was more about talking about the new changes to the French, and I don't think in a lot of ways they're going to be as strong as they were, but they're still going to be the most aggressive Phase A deck basically for the foreseeable future. I don't think Eugen are going to change that anytime soon, but I would like to see the disparity between Phase A requisition points closed a bit, so that each of the divisions has a lot better chance in Phase A, and then we're going to see more decks survive until Phase C. There you have it. We finally win the game by reaching the conquest limit, and after 14 minutes and 58 seconds, we win the game. And well, this game, like I said, it's not necessarily about us showing off killing loads of people and getting really good KDs and so on. It was more about not only the fact that it was a pretty nice town defense on the right side, getting me a lot of kills, 1,765, but also it was a good game for me to be able to talk about the changes to the French since the latest patch, and there you go. We have a quick look at the kills. You can see the kills were actually quite spread out. This half track did work. It actually shot down that Ju-87, like I said, and it did take out a 259. The M5A1 Stuart, These haven't been nerfed, they've actually been buffed. The Stuart aim time has been increased, or decreased, sorry, so they aim faster, and that's going to definitely be good. Well, mainly for the 3rd Armoured, but it's also useful in general for the French as well, since they have received nerfs in other areas. I don't think the M8 Greyhounds are going to be used as much anymore. Having them at 3-star still with a command unit nearby is still really, really potent. So don't expect them to be going away anytime soon. I just don't think we'll see them as often. It'll be more Stuart spam in the early game. And yeah, more Stuarts doing the damage there. And this is really what I think a game will look like. My M10 really picking off all of those Panzer 35s in the early game. When I saw that they had focused a lot on these Panzer 35s, that's why I brought in the M10, and it definitely worked out for me. Either way, yeah, just a quick game there, just to talk about the patch changes and so on. Hopefully it's been informative. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.